Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Spearhead Sundays podcast. I'm sorry, I've been away. I'm going to talk about that later, but right now we're going to get into the lawsuit situation with H3H3. We've got a bunch of stuff about my trip to Newcastle. We have a bunch of stuff about the developments in the Middle East. We got the MrBeast drama, and 28 years later, there's a bunch of stuff in this episode. It's going to be good. But what I want to open up with is that Tuesday, next week, Tuesday, innit, I'll be going at 31 years of age for my driver's license test. That's right, baby. I'm going for the test. I've had months of lessons. I've had over a decade to get my license, and I'm finally going for the test. I'm feeling confident. You might be listening next week to a licensed Spears, okay? And this is a momentous occasion. You might be thinking, oh my God, I can't believe it. Over a decade, we've been talking about this. This may be the most monumental achievement or catastrophic failure in my life, okay? I'm going for the test. I'm feeling good. I've been practicing my reverse parallel parking. I've been practicing my three-point turns. I've been doing head checks completely unaware of what they are for. I'm switching lanes. Dude, I've been getting road rage. Not me. I haven't been getting road rage. I've been getting road raged at. People driving up my ass. Bear in mind, I'm not driving in a car that has L plates on it. I'm getting lessons, right? So I'm driving in, you know, you've seen those cars doing lessons. The whole fucking thing, it's like a 360-degree wrap with just learner driver. They don't have the L plate on the back window. They got the L plate flagpole on both sides of the vehicle. Who the fuck is getting road rage at someone who is paying $60 for a lesson? Are you angry at me or the instructor? What are you mad at? You're mad because you had an argument with your wife last night because you've been drinking too much and she's worried about you. You're not angry at me. I'm not going to make you late. All right? What are you going to say? Do you know how to drive? No, I'm learning. That's what it says on the fucking vehicle. See, I don't get road rage. I get angry when I get out of the car. I got podcast rage. In the moment, I find it very funny. Right? I was driving and I had to turn left. Right, so I'm in the left lane. I've just entered the left lane. In front of me is a guy who is like halfway in the left lane and halfway into the right. He must have wanted to go left and then gone, oh, fuck, actually, I need to go straight. So bailed out, and he was blocking, like I couldn't go all the way up to the lights. There's a tradie behind me fucking losing his mind in my rear vision mirror, you know, doing these, like trying to fucking project his rage from his car into mine. I'm laughing. I think it's funny. All right. Because what does this guy want me to do? He wants me to fucking ram my instructor's vehicle into the fucking idiot in front of me. What does he want? Is he angry at me? No. He's angry at his life. Okay. It was 2 p.m. on a Monday. He's a tradie. Don't get angry at me because you were drinking all Sunday and now you have a headache and you got to listen to drills. All right? That's a you problem. That's not my problem. I could not imagine getting angry at someone like on the roads. Like, what are you mad at? There's something else going on. Every time I see people fucking flipping out, losing their minds, doing road rage at each other, screaming from one car into another, it just reminds me, you see those videos of the dogs either side of a fence just going, and then as soon as the fence opens, they go, oh, actually, I was just, they stop. That's what road rage is. You're only angry at someone else because you feel safe in your fucking metal tank, yelling at someone else in their metal tank. Like you think you're yelling at a car, not a human being. You've got no empathy. And your real issue is with how your life turned out, not with the fucking Chinese woman who doesn't know how to drive. Anyway, all of this to say, now that I almost have my license, I'm an expert on driving, okay? So I could never do anything incorrect in my life on the roads. No, I'm going for the test, and here's the thing, all right? I know a lot of people are going to be curious about the results, and we have episode 400 is coming up. We're recording it in Sydney. We're doing it live on stage. Tickets are on sale now and selling really quick, even though I haven't done a podcast for a while. So we haven't promoted it at all, but it's like half full. So loosespears.com, if you want to come see episode 400 live on stage, we're doing it in Sydney for the very first time. And there's only like 100 seats or something. So it's like filling up really quick. Get your tickets. I will see you there. And we're going to make it an evening to remember, because live on stage in Sydney for the recording of episode 400, I, Lewis Spears, will be doing a license reveal. I will not be revealing whether I passed or failed my learner's test on Tuesday, right, is when it happens. And I will not be revealing the results until episode 400 recorded in Sydney. We're doing a license reveal, okay? Fuck you and your gender reveal. Boring, all right? We're doing a license reveal. I will either, on episode 400, have my P plates or my L plates, and we're going to be revealing it live on stage. I'm not going to tell anyone in my life whether or not I passed or I failed. It's going to be the best kept secret since the Epstein list, all right? I'm revealing it, episode 400, loosespears.com. It's going to be a momentous occasion. And here's what I'm saying, man. I will be doing my very best to make sure that I show up to that fucking show with my license, because the embarrassment that I'm going to feel revealing in front of 100 people that I am still on my L's at 31 years of age will be immeasurable. I can't let that happen. So I'm going to be trying my darndest to pass this test. Here's the thing, right? I have a couple of weeks between the test and the live show. I think that if I fail, I'll get one more shot to do it, to try again. But, oh man, I don't know if I'll even have time. I might only have one shot. And people fail a lot their first test. So it's actually quite likely that it's quite likely that look, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm going in positive. I think I'm going to pass, but we'll all find out together, episode 400, whether or not I actually do. I'm not even going to tell Keelan. Here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find, and it's very difficult, you know those confetti cannons that the gender reveals do? We're trying to find ones that are yellow or red. Because I'll be going on will I be going onto my green Ps if I'm 31? Can someone who knows anything about driving tell me that? Because maybe I need to go yellow or green. I don't know. We're looking for yellow and red confetti cannons, and they're hard to come by because they're all pink or blue. And that says a lot about the oppressive patriarchy that we live under, where babies are just assigned genders based on their privates. What if they decide that they want to switch teams? What if they decide that they're not? They're a non-binary baby. What happens if you reveal a gender and you got a non-binary baby? It just shoots out nothing. It just shoots out blank. It shoots blanks. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is loosespears.com. Buy your tickets. I got Canberra on sale. I've got Frankston on sale as well. That's exciting. And the Sydney podcast, and then all the Australian shows are done. Then it's UK in October. There's a bunch of dates. Go get it. loosespears.com. Now, before we get into the H3 lawsuit, I want to address the elephant in the room, which is I have not uploaded for weeks. And I made a very bold claim a while ago that I would not miss a single episode of Spearhead Sundays. And I'm proud of myself, dude. I didn't miss, someone go and do the math and write it in the comment section. I didn't miss a single episode for well over a year, maybe 18 months. Talk about a fucking hot streak. There were a couple of late ones, but that's okay. Sometimes there's travel issues, whatever. I didn't miss any, all right? Every single episode for like 18 months came out until I did a podcast with a furry and I got unbelievably sick. I got the worst flu and the most horrific cough that I've ever had in my life. This was worse than the first time I got COVID, man, and that was bad. I got COVID early when it was worse than a cold, right? I got the COVID 0. I got COVID when there were no tests. I got COVID when I had to call the COVID hotline and go, I think I have COVID. What should I do? And they said, we don't know. We've just kind of, we're just here talking to people about nothing. Right? I was early to the COVID train, but this was worse. And I was racking my brains trying to figure out how the fuck I got sick, because I didn't meet anyone sick. I didn't do anything. It wasn't cold. There was no flu really going around at the time that I got sick. And then I remembered during the podcast that I did with the furry, I put his mask on. Now, he was a lovely gentleman, but I should not have done that, because 2 days after that, I got sick for 3 weeks. I had the worst cough I ever had in my life, guys. And I realize that this is completely my fault, because if I had one of those $4,000 furry heads, I wouldn't wash it either. I'd be too paranoid about getting it destroyed. And I'd be thinking, well, who else is going to be wearing this thing? It's just me. Guys, I got the furry flu and it took me out for fucking weeks, man. I couldn't get a sentence out without, I felt like I had a bong cough. One night, I woke up at 3 a.m. and went to the bathroom for what I thought was a wee, but I had a coughing episode that was so bad, I unlocked the door so that if the paramedics had to come in, they wouldn't have to break the door down, or if the people who were collecting my body wouldn't have to chop the door down or kick it into my ribs, or bruise my face because I was going to die on the floor of the toilet. I coughed so much, so frequently, that I almost vomited mid-coughing episode. I thought I was going to die. That's how bad the furry flu was. Dude, I was coughing so much that the next week, well, a week after I became well, so 3 weeks after that, I went and I got the flu shot. That's how fucking bad I was. I thought, whatever that was, I don't ever want to get it again. And now I'm really struggling with eye contact, but I've gotten a lot better at identifying all the types of trains. So plus and minus with the flu shot there. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I've never been that sick ever. And all I can put it down to is the furry flu. I never should have put on that mask. All right, I put on that mask and it was like Nurgle fucking infecting me with grandfather's love. It was not good. He was a lovely man, but dear God, don't ever wear another furry's mask. One of the bigger mistakes I've ever made in my life. I would argue that it would be safer to have unprotected sex with Bonnie Blue than it would be to put on another furry's mask. That is not good, man. When I've got a couple of YouTuber mates overseas that do conventions and stuff, and when I told them about my sickness, all of them said, yeah, it's because you did the furry thing and you put his mask on, dude. Every time we've ever done any sort of VidCon or any convention with a significant furry presence, and we've taken photos with the furries, we've gotten the worst flu of our life. So bless him, and it's totally my fault. Fuck, man, that's the worst flu I've ever had in my life. And that's all I can put it down to is the furry flu. So, yeah, man, please learn from my mistakes. Furries are great. Don't fucking wear their clothes. You know what I realized? That's essentially like me grabbing someone else's face mask and putting that on. Like that's disgusting. I just thought that when I was on the plane, somebody else was wearing like an N95 mask, and I was like, oh, essentially what I did was I took that off his face and put it on mine for a laugh. That's disgusting. Of course I was going to get sick. Anyway, I'm a little bit upset because I saw 28 Years Later. Great film. Amazing movie. No spoilers will be in this episode. I might do a review on Patreon because I got so many thoughts that I really want to go into, especially with the ending and the plot and everything. This has nothing to do with that, okay? There was a type of zombie in that film called the Alpha. The rage virus, the hypothesis was it put so much testosterone into these zombies that they became super big and super smart, and they were able to boss the other zombies around, right? And I was like, wow. And every male actor was fucking gigantic. They looked like an absolute freak. And I was like, who the fuck did they cast as these alpha zombies? These guys were giant. They looked like absolute freaks. And then I Googled the people that were playing them, and they are just guys that are exactly my height. So that was a real boost to the self-esteem to be watching a whole movie going, man, what a fucking freak that guy is, and it's me. I will say this about the film. I was not expecting that much penis. Heaps of flaccid cock in that movie. There was a concerning amount of flopping, flaccid, massive, dirty cock for a film whose main character is a minor. That was a lot. A lot of penis for a film that features a child as its main character. Those two things I don't normally expect to see in the same frame unless I'm reviewing CIA tapes taken from a certain island. Lots of penis and child in that movie. Same frame, same scene. And I was like, wow, they must have used a lot of creative blocking to make it look like this giant flopping cock was in the boy's face. And I Googled that, and it turns out, no, they were in the same room. That was in one shot. They did it with an iPhone, all right? So, look, I never thought I would say this in my life, but that iPhone footage of a giant man with his huge cock in the little boy's face made for a great film. I did look into how they shot the naked scenes, because I was like, surely that's some kind of child labor law. And yes, but all of the penises were prosthetic, so it's technically okay. That feels like a loophole that is going to be closed shortly. Like, hey, you can't have any pussies or cocks in the children's face in your movie unless they are comically and prosthetically enlarged versions of those privates. Then it's fine. Don't have a real 4-inch flaccid penis in the boy's face, but it's fine to have a fake but really real looking 12-inch version of it in the boy's face. That's cool. Dude, if I was the actor in that film, because there were two alphas that just had like 13-inch flaccid hogs, I would be telling everyone there were no prosthetics involved. That was just pure on the flop natural cock. Actually, maybe I would be, because there'd be a lot of scenes with the boy. You know what? I don't know what I would say. But here's what I will say. Danny Boyle, I would love to be an alpha zombie in the next 28 years later film, which apparently has already been shot and is working on being edited. So put me in the finale. I would like to be the final alpha in the third film. I'll get my real cock out. I don't need no prosthetic. I'll get the hog out. As long as it's filmed in a warm location, maybe a sauna, and I get an on-set fluffer. Then I will be happy to get the hog out au natural. But not before. I'm going to need a fluffer. Also, no children would be great. I hope that's an acceptable rider. I hope I'm not acting like too much of a princess. Anyway, in this film, dude, we saw it in Newcastle, me and Money Mitch, who's managing the tour. And we call him Money Mitch because even though we're not making very much money, we're trying very hard. But hopefully, Money Mitch will become a much less funny nickname when we actually start making some. But anyway, we're touring, right? And we're in Newcastle, and we go and see 28 Years Later. And not to sound like a boomer, but these kids don't know how to act in a fucking cinema. Bro, it's opening weekend of a film. If you're going to fuck around in a cinema, do it in the final week when no one cares. The cinema is packed. right? There's like 300 people in here. Everyone is being great. And then there are two they look like 16-year-old girls, like in the middle of the cinema to the right, and they're on Snapchat for the first 15 minutes of the fucking movie. And full brightness, white screen. Put it in dark mode, you fucking retard. 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes, and not like sending a message and then hiding it and then sending a message and then hiding. Literally not watching the movie at all, just talking to some other fuckwit. And I'm frustrated. Normally, I don't give a fuck. I'll tell people, put that away or shut the fuck up. But I was like 6 rows back. You know when like you want to tell someone, but there are other people that are in a much more appropriate position to do something about it? That's what it was. Like I would have to yell over the top of like 15 people's heads, hey, put that fucking phone away. That's what I would have had to do. So I just let it and I prayed that somebody else would do that because I'm not going to yell at 16-year-old girls, right? If I was next to them, I would go, hey, can you please put that away? I'm trying to watch the movie, right? And that would be enough. But I was so far away that I would either have to go, hey, for them to hear me, which would scare the fuck out of everyone else in the movie. And then I would be scary to these girls, or I would have to get up out of my seat, and I'm massive and I'm cognizant of that. So I just had to, but dude, it wasn't even just, it was like full max brightness. So every time she opened her phone, even though she was like 20 people away from me, it lit up the whole fucking cinema. It was so rude. And they were talking to each other. And then after 15 minutes, I just decided I'm going to say something. I've had enough of this, right? Because you know when there's a fucking idiot at the movie who's doing shit like that and they ruin the film for themselves? Like I watched these two girls not watch the opening sequence of the movie, and I understood that because they didn't watch any of it, they were not invested in any of the characters, so they would not give a fuck about the movie, and it would never hook them in, and they would never put the phone away, right? I saw the future. I was like, there's no way these fucking idiot kids are going to stop doing this. So I need to do something. So I am like, all right, at the next fucking, instead of being like, oh, when the next thing like kind of hits a climax, I'm going to go to the bathroom. There was nothing like that. I was like, instead of running off for a quick wee during a boring moment of the film, I'm going to get up and I'm going to yell at children. I wouldn't yell. I'd be like, hey guys, can you please stop doing that? It's really distracting everybody. Thank you. That's what I would have done. All right. In my head, I wanted to like grab their phone and piff it to the other side of the cinema, but I wouldn't do that because I'm not a fucking psycho in real life. I just kind of am in here and on this show. Right. But then, thank goodness, 2 girls get up and they leave the cinema. I was like, oh, thank fuck. They just didn't like the movie. Good. 10 minutes later, my worst fucking nightmare happens. The 2 girls come back into the cinema, and with them are 7 more kids. And they all come into the fucking, actually it wasn't 10 minutes later, it was an hour later, right? So they left in the first 15 minutes. They came back 45 minutes later. We're halfway through the movie. 7 fucking idiot kids come back into the film. I heard 6 people around me say something to the effect of, oh no. Oh fuck. Oh, here we go. Like unprompted, no one talking to each other, just ripples of, oh, here we fucking go. Sure enough, the 7 kids go back to that block of seating that the 2 fuckwit girls were in, and they're just talking to each other. They are not watching the movie. There are 3 boys taking up 3 seats that are faced away from the fucking screen. They're just talking to each other, pulling the phone out, taking selfies, speaking to each other. Most of the group didn't watch an hour and 15 minutes of the fucking movie, and now they're in the cinema with 2 fucking retard girls who weren't watching it at all up until they left. Now they're back. None of them give a fuck about the movie. I don't know why they're there. And it's just yelling, ignoring the movie. I am now regretting not buying popcorn because I got nothing to throw at these fuckwits. Dude, not to sound like a fucking boomer, bro, but like, I swear I was not like that as a kid. I didn't do that shit. I knew better. There is something fucked going on with all of these Zoomers. They don't know how to operate in public spaces. I never did that shit. My friends never did that shit. Right? Yes, I vandalized things at night and smashed up cars for fun. But when I was at the movies, I shut my mouth because I wasn't a fucking animal. You know what I think it is? I think it is that you can't even blame these kids, all right? COVID made them fucking socially retarded, right? Half these kids are fucking iPad babies. They've got their brains melted. Are they even Gen Z anymore? I think they're, like, how old is a 15-year-old? What generation are they? Are they alphas or young Zoomers? I don't know. Old alphas, young Zoomers, whatever the fuck they are, ages 12 to like 16, these kids are retarded. They don't know how to operate in real life. And why would they? They missed like 4 years of school and their parents had to go to work. So they just sat at home watching pornography and getting mind deleted by the iPad. And now none of these kids have any experience with operating in a public space. So when they get in a public space, they literally don't know what to do. They can't watch a film at home on Netflix without being on Discord and Snapchat and have their fucking AirPods in one ear playing music. These kids are fucked in the head. We failed them. And now we get to pay the price whenever they come into our public spaces, and I got to sit there like an angry boomer being like, how do you not know that 300 people fucking hate your guts right now? You don't want to be here. Why did you buy tickets? These kids spent like fucking $20 to get in to ruin my night. Fuck the whole film experience for me. Shut the fuck up. I should have yelled at them. Anyway, they come back into the cinema. They fucking yap for 25 minutes. I should have said something. I really regret it. But you got to understand, I was really far away. After 25 minutes of fucking ruining it for everyone, they all left. Didn't even want to be there. Bro. Cinemas need to have security guards. You know what that means? You know what the problem with that is? Is now I don't want to go to the movies ever again, right? The movie experience is completely fucking ruined by people who don't know how to behave when they leave their house, which makes people who do know how to behave when they leave their fucking house not want to leave their house. So the only people who leave the house are people who don't know how to fucking behave when they leave the house. I hate it so much. Now, right? Because thankfully I have a fake job where I can do whatever I want and worry about the consequences later. I'm only going to see a movie at 2 p.m. on a weekday in its final week of showing. I'm not doing that again, all right? I'm not seeing movies opening weekend because that's what I fucking have dealt with every single time, and I hate it. And then it makes me go, why the fuck would I ever go to a cinema in real life? I'll just wait for it to come out at home, watch it on the laptop, and then no good movies get made. It's just fucking Disney making the Babysitter Simulator and then the Babysitter Simulator live action version. Ever. On a loop until I die. And no one gets to make a good film ever again. Dude, it was such a good movie, fucking ruined it for me. And I talked to a mate who doesn't even live in Australia. He went and saw the same film, same experience. Bunch of idiot 15 or 17-year-old kids in a group yelling, talking to each other, ruining it for everyone. Here's how you fix the cinema experience. Put a fucking security guard in every single theater. And anyone who acts like a fuckwit gets kicked out. Shut up! Anyway, you know what they were doing during the film? For 30 minutes, they were doing like what I'm doing right now, but I'm by myself. You're listening to this for some reason. They were doing, imagine if I was doing this while you were trying to watch a film. Some of you listening to this are probably watching a film while listening to this, and I'm here to tell you, you need to throw the phone out. Don't listen to me or watch movies. You need to teach yourself how to read a fucking book because you're annihilating your own fucking brain. You got no cognition, brother. Fix your life. If you can't not look at your phone for 2 hours while here's what happened. Danny Boyle spent $75 million to show you something and you looked at your phone to watch someone fucking cutting up an egg and then duct taping it into a piece of wood while underneath it Subway Surfers gameplay played. You are dumb and you're making yourself dumber. We don't need you. Please walk into a wood chipper. You're ruining my life by existing. And that person votes. Fuck! You know, when these kids were in the cinema ruining the experience, I, as a 31-year-old man, thought, you know what? Maybe we should just nuke Iran so the draft comes back. And then I could go to the cinema while these kids are off doing something useful like dying for Israel. That would be better. Anyway, I gotta stop talking about this because I'm going to talk about it in a loop and I'm going to make myself angry and ruin my own day. And also, I probably should not be yelling this much because believe it or not, I'm still getting over this fucking furry flu. That's why I probably could have done a podcast yesterday, but I had a show in or last Sunday, but I had a show in Newcastle and I just didn't want to risk my voice. So that's why I'm putting this out now. Anyway, I'm nervous about my driver's test. I think I'm going to get it. I feel pretty confident. Here's where I'm going to fail. I'm going to, if I fail, and you won't know if I do or if I don't. If I fail, it will be during the reverse parallel park because I don't really know how to do them unless the instructor is telling me step by step exactly what to do. So before my test, I'm going to watch some YouTube videos on how to reverse parallel and then cross my fingers and hope to God that the instructor asks me to do a 3-point turn instead. 3-point turn, I'll nail that shit. You go in, then you go all the way out, then you full lock the wheel, you reverse, and then you go forward. And as long as you indicate and do your head checks for reasons unknown, that's fine. Reverse parallel, that's a little bit more difficult. You drive up really close to the car in front of you until you get to their wheel, and then you half lock the steering wheel, and then you do a head check, and then you reverse until the back fucking wheel of the car almost touches the gutter, and then you still reverse. You put the wheel back so it's straight, and then the front of the car should go in, and then you put it back in drive, and then you go forward until you can't see the back wheels of the car in front of you anymore, but they still have enough room to get out. And then if the instructor likes that, then you chuck it in reverse and you go backwards and then you indicate and you turn right or left and you get back onto the road and hopefully you don't run over a toddler in the process. That's what I've just been doing on my walks. I've been going over how to do a reverse parallel park in my own head, because this is the problem, learning to drive when you're 31, is that you know that you could die. When you're 17 learning how to drive, you actually don't know that you could die, all right? There's no memento mori going on in your head because you're 17 and an idiot. You don't even know that other people want to fucking punch you in the back of the head while you're using Snapchat at a movie cinema. Oh, fuck, I broke the head. Oh, my God. See, this is why I got to move on, because I just broke my fucking podcast mic stand again. I'm taking a deep breath. Man, Bonnie Blue got banned from OnlyFans. I got a video coming out about this. That's so, I knew this was going to happen, I think. I knew this was going to happen. And here's the reason. Bonnie Blue got banned, and it's just bullshit made up reasons. They banned her for doing extreme challenge content. But like, here's the thing. She did everything by the book. She got consent forms. She used protection. She did this. She did that. She made sure everyone knew what was happening. She was doing drug tests to make sure that no one was sober, or to make sure that everyone was sober, that no one was drunk. She was doing STI tests on her and on everyone who came in. She was doing it all by the book and according to the rules. That's not why she got banned. She got banned because you can't have an outrage marketer doing online sex work, because online sex work is at any moment in one of the several dozen countries that it's just been legalized in, it is forever at the under the threat of becoming illegal or getting denied use of like MasterCard could just go, no, we're not going to process your payments. And when that's the industry that you work in, where you're forever permanently at risk of legislation or economic punishment by any number of, like, websites could go, no, we don't want to host you. Payment processors could go, no, we don't want to process your money. One of the biggest states in America could go, no, we don't want you to be legal in our state. And now you lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Some random fucking Eastern European country could make you illegal. Like, there are so many moving parts and shit. And while all of that is going on, you can't have the most popular person on your platform be doing outrage marketing. Like, outrage marketing is what I do, right? I piss a bunch of people off, and then a smaller but more loyal group go, that's funny, I'm going to buy a ticket. Right? That's how my business works. I understand what Bonnie Blue is doing. She's trying to piss off older married women so that their husbands and children subscribe to her OnlyFans, because she's not losing out on that demographic. They would never buy a subscription to her OnlyFans. So pissing them off doesn't cost her money. It just makes her money from their husbands and sons, right? I understand the market, the business model she's running. When I piss off fucking Buddhists for making fun of the Dalai Lama, I don't lose any money, because none of them were going to come to my show ever in their life, no matter how much I tried to appeal to them. But you might, because that's funny. So I get it. But you can't, but I can't be the most popular comedian if the question, should stand-up comedy even be legal, was at all times being asked in parliaments in countries around the world. It's too dangerous. So if I'm OnlyFans, I would be banning her as well. Because you can't have someone whose explicit goal is to piss most people off so that some of them get horny and subscribe. It's not good for OnlyFans, the business, you know? It simply isn't. I'm surprised, to be honest, that Bonnie Blue didn't sort out like an Andrew Tate alternative fucking club thing that you could subscribe to that was done through her own payment processes and shit. Like, that's essentially what the same shit has happened. Like, Bonnie Blue is the sex worker version of Andrew Tate. She outrage marketed Too Close to the Sun. You know, and now she's got no OnlyFans. So she's lost out on like millions of dollars a month in Australian dollars. I think that what I read was something like £600,000 a month like which is like $1.2 million a month or something. And now she's just permanently banned. And they've come out and they've said permanent, right? And yeah, it's definitely like targeted action against her. Like she hasn't actually really violated anything. And like, what does extreme content challenge even mean? You know, that could be like, how many fucking orgasms can I make? How long can I, like, what does that even mean? You know, she's the MrBeast of pussy. And she's been persecuted. Leave my girlfriend Bonnie Blue alone. And look, this is like completely, I think what she's doing is yucky. I don't like it. And I think that what's worse than her is like all of the men showing up to these fucking gangbang challenges. Like whoever these men are, they have such a low view of women, and it's about disrespecting someone they see as subhuman, not because it's Bonnie Blue, but because she's a woman, that all of these men should be on a fucking list and need to be looked into. They're likely dangerous dudes, right? If they're willing to do this to a stranger, what would they do to their wife or child behind closed doors? That's kind of what I think about when I picture these men. Bonnie Blue, I think she's like she's like the perfect mix of autistic, sociopathic, that super soldier that with a Teflon pussy that seemingly as an outside viewer, what she is doing is genuinely not harming her the way that it would harm any other woman that would try to do that. The same reason of like, if I tried to do the stunts that Tom Cruise did and continues to do, I would fucking die. Tom Cruise can do it because he's Tom Cruise and nobody else should even try. That's Bonnie Blue. And that's even how I consume her content, right? It's the same way that I consume Tom Cruise's movies. I have zero interest in seeing Mission Impossible. I don't care about, what's the other one that he does all the stunts in? See, I don't even know what it is. I know there's Mission Impossible. Fucking, is he Jason Bourne? I don't know. Whatever one he does the stunts in, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to see the movies. I don't care about the plot. I'm not even going to look up a recap of the plot on YouTube. I will watch the behind the scenes of how he pulls it off. Same with Bonnie Blue. I'm not going to watch her porn. One time I did a video on it and I had to look her up on Twitter and I saw a lot of the pornography. I was absolutely horrified and disgusted by it. But then I saw some behind the scenes of like how they did it and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Bonnie Blue and Tom Cruise, for me, same person. I don't want to watch his movies, but I want to see how the fuck he hanged from a plane while on fire and then shot holes in his parachute and survived. Bonnie Blue, I don't ever want to watch her pornography. I don't want to see a second of it. But I'm thoroughly interested in the security and how they facilitated the queues. And is this an Airbnb or is this someone's home? And like all of the production and behind the scenes, that fascinates me. Don't ever show me what you're actually filming, but definitely tell me how you're doing. That's interesting. So yeah, I don't know what she's going to do. Now, she's been banned. I think it was a business decision that OnlyFans did to protect the business known as like subscription-based online sex work. It wasn't because she violated anything. It's because she was pissing off too many people and her profile was too big. You can't have it. Same thing with Andrew Tate. He didn't necessarily violate any social media guidelines, really. It's just he was pissing off really powerful people and he had to be banned. And he was like causing a net negative effect on the social dynamics of like Earth. So he had to go. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like on paper bullshit, but I don't necessarily disagree with it. It's just like, this is the logical conclusion of what you have been pursuing. If you outrage market too much, you either get depersoned or killed. Like, Those are the two things, right? If you outrage market too much, like outrage marketing, if you outrage market too hard, you accidentally cause a revolution. You know, that's how all revolutions start. It's outrage marketing. That's what Hitler was doing. He was getting people pissed off enough that they started going out there and smashing windows. That's where it goes. Me, I know my lane. I'm just trying to get people angry enough where I can sell tickets, but not so angry where all my shows and social media accounts get deleted. It's walking a tightrope, and Andrew Tate, Bonnie Blue, they fell off. You know, she's like Icarus. She flew too close to the sun, but instead of her wings being made of wax, they're made of dried cum. But I think she's really funny. You know, I think she's fucking hilarious. And I've spoken to her, you know. I think she's really funny. Like, that's why I like her, because I see what she's doing. She's doing outrage marketing, and she's really fucking quick in podcasts and interviews. I haven't seen a single interviewer that's gotten over her. Even that one she did with Andrew Tate, because he's the same. He's always like real fucking quick, and he'll say the thing that'll discombobulate the interviewer, and that makes him look funny and charismatic. She's like that. She did that better than he did when they, like, that was like the two goats of discombobulating the other person. The only person I've seen that's on Bonnie Blue's level, probably even higher, is Donald Trump. And I'm not talking now, I'm talking 2016 debate Trump. That's when he was in his fucking prime. You know? Where, you know that moment where him and Hillary Clinton on the debate stage, he was walking around, she stayed behind the podium, looked weak, and she was like, yeah, because you'd be in jail. Audience erupts like we're watching a fucking UFC fight. That's Bonnie Blue right now. She's 2016 Trump debate. That's how sharp she is. But yeah, I think it's like a business failing on her team to not have organized some sort of alternative subscription-based thing completely controlled by them. Maybe they have tried to do it, and they're just like, they haven't been able to find an alternative payment processor, because sex work is really hard to get approval for. Like OnlyFans, every time I look into their business model, they're switching payment processors. I mean, remember, this is the website that banned sex content on their website because they were at threat of being shut down by payment processors, right? This is a website that almost lost everything by banning sex work in general from their platform. That's how unable they were to find someone to host their business model, whether it was payment processors or like, you know, DNS services or fucking cloud protection or website hosting or any number of things that if it were taken away would cripple their business. You can't have an outrage marketer be the face of OnlyFans, and that's what Bonnie Blue was, and that's why she got banned. So best of luck to her. If I were, I would just retire, right? I mean, if she was like saving her money and which she's adamant that she wasn't like spending it like an idiot athlete who only has 3 years left, right? Seems like she was smart with it. I would just disappear, you know, change my sex back to male and get out of here. That's another funny conspiracy theory where like people are transvestigating Bonnie Blue and calling her like a man called Chris or Kyle, I think. I think it was Kyle. Listen, man, I've done a video on Bonnie Blue, and for that I did my research. That is a real pussy. Here's how I know she's not trans, because if a trans woman with a trans pussy fucked 1,000 dudes in a day, she would be dead. They would turn that fake pussy into a wound in 3 blokes. The whole room would be smelling like shit and blood. It would not be good. All right? Those vaginas are not ready yet. Do not get that surgery. It's not, they haven't finished cooking it up yet. All right? Any trans listener listening to this show, of which I know there are many, because for some reason I attract you hoes like flies to shit, right? Don't get the trans pussy. We haven't figured it out yet. It's not ready. Do not, if you're booked in for a consultation, cancel it. We're not ready, all right? Any woman getting a trans pussy installed, That's like the first 5 years of breast implants. We had not figured it out yet. You are a test subject. Send a few other trans people in ahead of you like canaries in the coal mine. I don't, like, if I needed to get a pussy installed, I wouldn't want, like, you don't want to get a surgery of any kind until you can look at someone who got it 10 years ago and they were like, yeah, it still works. You know, that's like me with my head, right? I knew going into my head surgery that I was going to be okay because I was able to look at YouTube videos from people who got it 20 years ago and they were like, yep, I can still chew food. I can still breathe. My nose didn't fall off. You know what I mean? And the tranny pussies, we're not there yet. We're just not there yet. If you want to get your titties done, girls, go for it. All right. We're crushing the titties. We're only getting better. I get fooled every single day by fake yitties. Every day I see a pair of titties and I go, nice. And then 4 months later I go, they're not real. What? No scars, the correct amount of jiggle, one slightly bigger than the other. We are on when it comes to fake breasts, we are killing it right now. We're absolutely crushing it. We don't know how to fix menopause, but when it comes to giving a woman a fat pair of tits, we can do that. That's the thing, right? There are not enough men attracted to trans women for us to figure out the trans pussy yet. What we really need is a bunch of surgeons who are really attracted to trans women. But even then, they like the dick. That's the real problem. See, every surgeon doing breast implants, they love titties. That's why breast implants have gotten to be where they are. A miracle of science. You know, if we wanted to cure cancer, which we do, here's what I'm trying to say. I know out of all the cancers in the world, the first one we're going to fix is breast cancer. Because surgeons and scientists and doctors are mostly men. And what are men like? A nice pair of natural titties. So out of all of the cancers in the world, we are going to fix breast cancer first. It'll either be that or prostate cancer. It'll go prostate cancer, breast cancer. Because what do men like more than titties? The opportunity to stay alive so that we can feel more titties. So it'll go prostate cancer, breast cancer. The same way with cosmetic surgeries, it went breast implants, woman's face. Because we've got our priorities in order. So what I'm trying to say here to all my trans listeners, don't get the pussy. Just get a nice pair of titties and enjoy your small little woman's dick. Because we don't know how to do the trans pussy yet. At the moment, at best, it's a stinky poo wound. Anyway. I'm talking about this because I'm trying to say, Bonnie Blue, that's a real pussy. In fact, that's a Teflon pussy. I don't know how she's managed to survive years of doing her work without a pussy with calluses, but, you know, some kind of sandpaper pussy. But if she's to be believed, and the thousands of Google reviews are, yuck, this is disgusting. We need to move on. MrBeast is in a lot of trouble because of he's launched this AI thumbnail tool, and here's the problem with someone like MrBeast. He does not give a fuck about quality at all, and he will admit this. He doesn't care about artistic integrity. He doesn't care about like soul in art, saying anything in art. This man's priority is making the analytics on his YouTube Studio app look green every time. Like, he is the finance bro of YouTube, right? In the same way where a stock investor does not give a fuck about what they're adding to the world. They just care about the chart they're looking at and if it's going to go up or down, and they're just trying to make it go up. And if that means investing in Lockheed Martin, good luck, Palestinian kids, right? That's MrBeast. But instead of bombs falling on children in refugee camps, it's attention spans of children in first world countries with iPads tanking. And that's why when I go to the movies, none of these fucking kids know how to shut the fuck up and put their phone away. Because MrBeast is making videos that make them retarded. And now MrBeast, he's got like this fucking vidIQ thing. It's like a plugin for Google Chrome or whatever, an add-on where it will like tell you analytics about other people's YouTubes. Like, this video is a 1 in 10, or this video has this much watch time, or this many likes and dislikes. And it can analyze your channel and suggest what type of content you should make that will get a view, or like what your audience is watching and enjoying on other people's channels, so you can get an idea of what your audience, you know, wants to watch, right? Which is pretty useful. Like, I use this stuff to kind of get a read on what you guys are into and what other people are doing well and all this kind of stuff, right? It does make you a better creator if you use it as a way to become like a better creator and not just to fucking retention hack your way into making millions of dollars but pumping out soulless shit, slop, rubbish, right? I'm playing the YouTube game a little bit, but I try to make my videos like actually funny and not just, you know, leaning into this person's canceled and they're irredeemable for views, you know? But MrBeast introduced a new feature where you can make AI YouTube thumbnails, and it's like a paid feature for fucking $50 a month. And if you watch his video that he did announcing it, he literally just shows you how you can copy and paste a thumbnail, a URL of a video that has a thumbnail that you like, and you can just put your face on top of whoever's face is in it, steal their thumbnail, and make it your own. It's just brazen theft framed exactly that way. Not even disguised. It's literally just MrBeast going, oh, so you know this thumbnail that this guy spent hours on? Well, you could just take it and put your face onto it and make it your YouTube video, which is literally just facilitating content theft. This guy has had a really good idea for a YouTube video, and he's made a custom thumbnail that goes with that title. If you're stealing the thumbnail frame by pixel, you're also stealing the fucking YouTube video, right? I can't remake someone's thumbnail and put it on a video that is completely different. It won't work. It will be clickbait. You know, if I take one of MrBeast thumbnails and I put it on a stand-up clip, people who click on it are going, this sucks, it's not what I wanted. Why the fuck is this a stand-up clip? I thought I was going to watch a train crash into a bank or whatever fucking dumb video he's making today. Right? It's just literally using artificial intelligence to steal someone's idea and then paying MrBeast $50 a month to facilitate that. It's gross. And I use AI. I like AI as a creative assistant tool. I use it all the time. All right. I don't ever generate images and just post them. But when I make shit in Photoshop, I will circle stuff and, you know, remove shit. That's AI. When I have a subtitled clip on, that's AI. That used to be a job I would pay a human to do. Subtitled clips. Now I get AI to do it. That's what AI is for, to remove tasks that make human beings go insane because they're repetitive and soulless. Transcribing. Miscellaneous Photoshop bullshit like, oh, remove this person from the background and replace it with a tree. That's what AI is for. Not for, oh, this guy's idea is good, put my face in it, make it look like I did it. That's gross. And it further proliferates the idea that YouTube should just be looking at what someone else is doing and stealing their best idea and not even subtly remaking it, just redoing it frame by frame. It's gross. I hate it. Yucky. But that's MrBeast's business model, and it will work. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been feeling a little bit, on a personal note, a little bit lost with what I'm doing online. And I think a lot of it has to do with me touring, because I love stand-up. And I see myself as a comedian, a stand-up comedian, not just a guy that makes funny videos online. And I so desperately want to just perform. Like, if all I did was this podcast and then I got on stage, fuck, I would be wrapped. But this podcast is just not big enough to sustain what I'm doing and pay my mortgage and my team and pay to get me around. And stand up, we're selling a lot of tickets, but not enough to like get me to where I'm going, because I've got so much fucking debt and shit from like the surgeries and all this. And there was like years where I was making no money, and now I got to pay for that. I'm paying for the cost of being sick and not being able to do my job for so long. And you know, I really just want to get on stage. And if I want to just get on stage, I just got to sell a fuckload, so many tickets that I don't need to do anything else. And I'm not there. And also, it's kind of impossible to do that in Australia. So I've been feeling a little bit lost in the sense of there are so many things that I could do. I think that's the kind of trap that I find myself in a lot, where there are so many things I could be doing that would work if I did them well. And then I kind of pivot. And then I go, fuck, I could be doing, and then I pivot again. I could be doing. A good example of this is this, right? Right now, I want to sell as many tickets as I can because I'm currently touring. Kind of the best way to sell tickets is to just be posting stand-up clips endlessly. However, the problem with that is stand-up clips and short clips and anything on any of the short platforms make no money at all. So if I just stop doing YouTube, which does make money, to do short clips, that does work, but there are only a limited amount of cities in Australia, and I've just finished doing all of them, and I'm not going to fill theaters in the UK. The UK is still small. We're growing in the market there. It's going great, and we're probably going to sell heaps of tickets, but heaps of tickets in a country I don't live in is like 150 in each town. You know what I mean? And that's not enough to pay for my life at home. So I pivot to short clips to sell tickets, and then I go, oh, fuck, I actually need to pay my bills by doing YouTube. And then I find myself in this spot where I'm doing both of those things poorly. And you can see this, you know, I got sick, so I'm giving the podcast a slide. I'm letting that slide. But like YouTube, you know, I was like posting some short clips and posting some YouTube videos, and then both of them weren't being done well. So I found myself in like this spot where I'm like, okay, the only way where I'm actually going to do both of these things well is if I have an editor. And the only way to get an editor is if I'm doing YouTube videos and I'm making so much money that I can fucking outsource and pay someone's wage like I used to when that was happening, right? But then I'm like, well, fuck, I don't really want to just be a YouTuber. I want to be a stand-up comedian. I want to really show people what I can do. And I'm filming all of the shows, and we're banking all the footage, and we're storing it all. And I really want to get that stuff out. But every time I commit considerable time to that, the YouTube falls off. And then I'm in this fuck situation where I'm like, oh shit, I need to stop doing clips so I can do YouTube, so I make money, so I can pay for food. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's been stressing me out. And I just was like, man, I need to remember where I want to go. Where do I want to go? What do I want to be doing in 5 years? I do not want to be doing this in 5 years, which is just doing a tour of Australia once a year, and then in between that, doing fucking 5-minute, 10-minute spots at open mic nights in Australia where no one has paid money to be there, so no one's invested in the show, where you can only get like a couple 5-10-minute spots a week, and you're performing to people who don't care with people who aren't professional comics. Australia is doing an impression of the comedy industry, and it's a fucking good impression, but it is an impression. We don't, like, you know, in Melbourne, we have 2 comedy clubs. In Sydney, there's 2. In Adelaide, there's 1. In Perth, there's 1. And they're all great. They're such good clubs, and I love performing at them. But that's not what being a comedian is. You know, if you live in one city, you get to do 2 comedy clubs a week. If you live in Sydney, you get to do 2 comedy clubs a week. If you live in Perth, you get to do 1. It's just not what comedy is. I want to be in New York doing 5 comedy clubs a night, every night, 5 nights a week, 30 plus sets a week in front of paying audiences that aren't my fans, but are fans of comedy, that are invested in the show, that understand what they're supposed to be doing at the show. I want to be performing with comedians that are so good, it scares the fuck out of me. Not to blow my own horn, but rarely do I see comedians in Australia that are like considerably better than me. And that's just because we have a very natural skill ceiling in Australia, because anyone who gets really good leaves, because they should. Ronnie Chang, James McCann, Jim Jeffries, Amos Gill, fucking who else is Hannah Gadsby. Like, there are so many amazing Australian comics that leave because we don't have enough clubs. We don't have the population to sustain clubs. We don't have the population to sustain nightlife in general. The only thing to do in Australia is binge drink or slap on the pokies. We have pubs, some nightclubs that close, you know, every 5 years and reopen and close and reopen and close because their owners go into bankruptcy. We barely have the culture to the population to sustain any sort of culture other than brunch. Right? So I'm like, okay, I don't want to be in Australia. I want to go to the States. How do I go to the States? Well, I need to be making enough money to pay my mortgage here and rent in New York. That's astronomical. And also, I need to be able to afford to be making no money in America for like 2 or 3 years, because that's how it is as an immigrant. You don't make money. You just eat shit until you figure it out, right? How am I going to do that? The only way to do that is either be filling theaters in Australia, selling so many tickets that I don't have to work for another 2 years. That would take fucking years of posting clips here. Or I go hard on YouTube and I print money with YouTube sponsorships, ad rates, grow the podcast to where we're getting like 30,000 listeners on YouTube, and then grow the Patreon. The Patreon being the main thing, because I would love to just 10x the podcast and the Patreon, and I would be sweet. And the only way to do that is to just really fully recommit to the big swing, because this is working. And then I started doing stand-up and touring, which I love more than anything else in the world. And I was reminded, oh, fuck, I love stand-up. And YouTube can't even compare to it. I like doing YouTube. It's great. I'm not going to complain about it. It's fun. I get to make people laugh. I love reading the nice comments. I love getting heaps of views. If you can get heaps of views, you make a ridiculous amount of money for the amount of effort that you put in. If, huge if. But it doesn't even hold a candle to getting up in front of 30 people at an open mic night for 5 minutes and doing kind of well and being like, fuck yeah, I thought that joke would work. But I think what I need to do is I just need to really reconsolidate and be like, okay, I can post stand-up clips when I'm in an environment where I can actually be a stand-up comedian, because you really can't be one in Australia. There are no opportunities. The only job available to you is radio and, 7 minutes on the project, and the project just got cancelled. You could get a writing job for minimum wage on the project, and that's just gone. So your only option is to get breakfast radio. Or leave. And I want to leave. And the only money or income that I can take with me is Patreon and YouTube. I can do this from the moon. Yeah, I can make podcasts and YouTube and make money from fucking Istanbul. And if I kept doing it, I wouldn't take a hit income-wise at all. Whereas if I move and I'm in a spot where I'm making heaps of money touring in Australia doing theaters, I can't take that with me because I'm going somewhere else. So I've really thought about it, and I thought, okay, as much as I love doing real talk, doing the stand-up clips, doing all the short platform stuff, it makes no money until I tour once a year in Australia, and then we've just added in UK, and that's great. I'm just going to put everything aside, and I'm just going to do this and YouTube for the next year. And we're recommitting to the fucking big swing. Because I was looking at my channel before I started touring this year. It was like November, December, January, that ray gun where I fully committed to the big swing, and I fully figured it out and I locked it in, and it was like bang, bang, bang. And I started making really, really good, consistent money. It was like $5,000 a month, every month, bang, bang. And it was growing, right? And that's the type of money where I can take that to the States and just continue. And I can cover my mortgage here, and I can have a fucking share room, shithole apartment, and just really chase the dream. And then I can get out there. Every time I feel like this, I just remind myself of 2019. I'm with Andrew Schultz. We're in New York. He took me on to an average night. It was like a weeknight. He did New York Comedy Club, 15 minutes, paid. He smashed. He did pretty good, but it was a new bit. We got into a taxi cab together. We went to another comedy club. He did the same 15 minutes. We tweaked it in the club, punched it up, removed some stuff. He did even better. Paid, sold out, 200 people there. None of them his fans. They were just there to go to the comedy club because it's something that they do. We don't do that in Australia because we don't have any clubs, right? We get into a cab. We go to a third comedy club. The same 15 minutes. He does even better. Paid, sold out crowd, blah, blah, blah. We jump in a cab. We go back to the original club. It's their second show of the night. Same club, new audience, 15 minutes. He annihilates with a joke that was only kind of working at the first set of the night. Paid, sold out audience, jump in a cab. We get some food. We go home. Changed my life. I was like, that's why. And when I was in New York for 2 weeks, every single comedian I saw was the best comedian I had ever seen in my life, and none of them were famous, Every time I looked them up, they had like 15,000 followers on Instagram, and they had no job. They paid their rent doing paid spots, not famous, but good enough to do 15 minutes and make people laugh. And I was like, fuck, man, I want to be in an environment where not only is every comedian I see the best comedian I've ever seen, so much better than me that it makes me sweat. That's where I want to be. I want to be in a place where comedians, if they're good, they can pay their rent. You can't do that in Australia. I'm one of the only ones that can pay his rent off being a comedian. And even then, I don't get paid to be a comedian. I make my own money. I haven't gotten paid to do anything for fucking years. And when I do, it's like $100 here. You know, I opened for someone, I got paid $100. I was like, fuck, that's great money. You know, it doesn't exist in this country because there's no money, because there's no population to support it. So as much as I fucking love stand-up, if I really want to do stand-up, I got to stop worrying about the clips and the short stuff, and I just got to go hard on YouTube and make the funniest, most consistent stuff that I can so that I can make as much money as I can so that I can finally fucking give that immigration lawyer $15,000, because that's what it actually costs to get that visa so that I can move, so that I can fulfill my potential. I've just had this moment in the last 6 months where I've been touring Australia and I've been loving it so much. And now I've got 2 shows left in Australia, but I'm going to have like 4 months where I'm just not really going to get on stage. And I'm like, man, I can't be, how the fuck am I going to write next year's show if I have to write it on pen and paper by myself without the ability to go out 5 times a night in front of a paid audience to workshop my shit? I need to be in an environment where if I bomb, it's dangerous to my career. You know, where if I bomb, I can't blame it on performing in front of a fucking like open mic night where no one wants comedy to be there. They would rather talk to their mate. Like that's the environment that we have in Australia because we're doing an impression of a comedy industry. We don't actually have one. So I guess this is as much for me as it is for you, this talk. It's like I'm going to take the long-term view now. Because I think like before, you know, I was so sick for so long. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this. I feel so grateful. I'm so happy just doing it at all. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care how many views I'm getting. I'm just happy to do it. And I'm so grateful to do it. And I'm so lucky to be alive, you know? I'm so lucky to be healthy and happy and have this talent and you guys that support my dream. And I am so happy and I'm so grateful. And I don't want this to sound like I'm complaining because I love my life. I love it so much. And I'm so cognizant of the fact that I am blessed to be able to do this. I haven't had a job since 2004, on 15 or 16 maybe. That's like 10 years. Praise God. Hallelujah. I'm so lucky. I've been living my dream for a decade. And it's because I am so grateful for that. And I'm so aware of the privilege that I have that I want to take it further because I really want to take this shit seriously. And I really want to be a comedian. And I don't think you can be a comedian in this country. Not a great one. You can't fulfill the potential that you have in this country because we don't. It's like if I want to be a swimmer, I need to live near a pool. It doesn't, like Usain Bolt, if he didn't live near a place where he could train, it doesn't matter his genetics, it doesn't matter his passion, it doesn't matter because you need to be in the right environment. The number one most important thing for anything you do in your life, no matter what it is, no matter what you want to do, if you want to do anything or achieve anything, the most important decision is where do you live? That's the number one deciding factor in, are you going to be able to do what you want to do? Where do you live? If you don't live in an environment where you can, university students understand this. If I want to study fucking marine biology, I got to live near the uni that offers that course. That's where I'm at. I don't live near a university that has the course of stand-up comedy. Because I live in Australia and we don't have comedy here. I want to be in the States. I need to be in the States because I don't want to hit the skill ceiling. I know I can be one of the fucking greats, man. I know it. And I know that I won't reach my potential until I'm 50 because that's where comedians get good. You start to get really good when you're 40. We're the reverse of athletes. If I was an athlete, I'm 31. I'm thinking about retirement. But because I'm a comic, I'm 31. I'm thinking about going pro. I'm paying my mortgage. I'm buying food. I'm paying my bills with comedy, and that's great. But I want to go pro. And you can't go pro in Australia. You can't. We don't have the stage time to sustain it. I want to be fucking great. And the way to be great is, ironically, not by posting stand-up clips and filling theaters in Australia. It's by moving. And the way to move is to be making enough money that I can uproot my entire life without ruining it. Because I also understand, like, I could just sell the house and move. I could do that. But I understand that if I sell this house that I wasn't supposed to be able to get because the system's fucking rigged, if I sell this, I'll never get another one. I know that. I understand that. I snuck in the door while they were closing it. I didn't come from money. I got a weird fucking fake job. I got in because I won the lottery during COVID, where I was in an industry that benefited from it, online stuff, and I got my foot in the door and I've almost lost it about 15 times. I'm not fucking letting go. So the only way to keep this and get there is YouTube. Because YouTube is the only fucking thing where I know if I really hustled, I could make $20,000 a month. I know that. That's an option. And I'm being open and honest with you guys because you are all part of this, especially the podcast listeners and especially the Patreon people, because you guys have been there for the whole fucking journey. I met some guy in Newcastle who said, I've been watching you since 2012 when I was 14 and I was looking at a man. That is such a special connection. And I know there are so many of you guys that have been around for that long, or for fucking 5 years or 10 years or even 2 years. Is it an incredible amount of time to be watching what I make and enjoying it and supporting me. And I owe it to you to get to where I envisioned I would be since I started this thing. And that's the States. And the pathway to the States is YouTube. So I had a real big think about it. I'm dropping all the stand-up clips. It's just, it doesn't serve me. And also, they're funny whenever. That's another thing. I'll still do stand-up clips and real talks and stuff about current trending shit, right? Because that's just not funny 3 days after it happened. But as far as posting the crowd work clips and all that kind of stuff, it's like, that's cool. And that would work. And that would make me sell a lot more tickets in Australia. But I'm not doing this for money, you know? I like doing my fucking 100, 200 seaters around the country. I love that. I've done theaters. They're really cool. You make a lot of money. But I prefer doing quantity of gigs. I would much rather, instead of doing one 1,000 seater, like I have done, I would much rather do 10 100 seaters. And we don't have that in Australia unless you sell your own tickets. And that's really difficult. The marketing, the fucking running ads, the posting TikTok clips, all this kind of stuff to sell tickets. It's really, really hard and it's great. But long term, man, I don't want to be doing fucking 2,000 seat theaters in Australia. That would be cool, but I don't do this for money. I do this because I want to get on stage as much as possible and I want to get as good as I possibly can. And that's in the States, you know? I want to be a fucking middling, talented comedian in the States that can't headline a club in New York yet, but, you know, will fly out to fucking Wyoming to headline the Wacky Doo Comedy Club, you know, for like a few $100 that weekend in front of 100 people who aren't my fans, but they like comedy. Like, I want to do that. I fucking crave that. I see people that I know that are doing that are just traveling around to like no-name comedy clubs. They've got no fans. They're not famous, but they are really good. So they do these like fucking random clubs in small towns in America, and they get paid to do it. And I'm like, fuck, man, that's what being a comedian is. I want to be a road dog. I don't want to do a big tour of Australia and then take 8 months off because we have 5 cities here. You know, I don't want to go to a regional town where I can sell 100 tickets, but I have to perform in a fucking RSL function room that doesn't have good lighting and sound, because why would they have an actual club? I want to sell enough tickets where I can fill a theater in a regional town. And honestly, the way to that is through the States. You don't get famous in Australia by becoming famous in Australia. You become famous in Australia by leaving. That's a really interesting thing about our culture, is we love people who come home, don't we? You know? But it's not about becoming famous. It's about getting good and being a stand-up comedian. And you just can't do it here. We're doing a really good impression of a comedy industry, but the only comedy industries that exist, America and England. It's the only ones. And it's because they have the population to support clubs that don't rely on famous people. They rely on being a famous club. Name a comedy club in your town if you live in Australia. You don't know what it is. You can't. And if you can, why do you know that club exists? Is it because you saw a comedian that you're a fan of? Or is it because you actually knew what the club was from going to the club to see comedy? It's because you were like, oh, fuck, I want to see Friendly Geordies at the Comics Lounge. And now you know the Comics Lounge. It's not because I go to this comedy club every week or every month because it's a thing that I do. That's something that I saw in the States that I immediately understood we do not have in Australia. I was like, oh, these people are just here to go to the comedy club. They don't want to see any of these acts. They just want to see comedy. You know, they haven't bought tickets because fucking this famous guy is going to show up. They've just gone because they like comedy. We don't have that in Australia because we don't have the clubs, because we don't have the population to support the clubs. To get good, truly good, you got to leave. And to leave, I need a monthly income that I can count on, that is regular, that isn't like fuckloads of money here and then no money for 8 months, which is what touring in Australia is for me. It's like a fuckload of money and I got to be really careful with it so that I break it up evenly over the months so that I don't go broke when I've got, you know, I don't want to be living in fucking, what is it called? It's like abundance and then famine. You know, it's like heaps and then nothing. Heaps, then nothing. I don't want to live in a seasonal environment. So I'm certainly not quitting stand-up or stopping touring or anything like that. I love touring, and this is why I'm doing this. I'm just trying to. What I'm trying to say is, if I really want to become successful, I need to, and this goes for you as well. You got to choose what you're not going to do. You got to choose what you aren't doing that you could, you know, because I could just post fucking 5 real talks a day and 5 stand-up clips a day, and I could have 1 million followers on Instagram, but that's not going to get me any money, and that's not going to get me to the States, you know? And that's where I want to be. And the path to that is YouTube, which grows the podcast, which grows the Patreon. That's what I'm going to lock in on, and that's what I'm going to do, because I felt myself, I get pulled in so many different directions, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, I could do stand-up clips really well. I could do real talks really well. I could do this. I could do that. And then I end up doing everything poorly. So I'm deciding to not do anything other than YouTube, podcast, touring, because that is all I'm capable of doing well. And anything else requires staff. And when I'm like, oh, fuck, if I'm going to put $60,000, $70,000 a year to a salary, why the fuck would I do that when that's rent and bills for a year in the States? You see where I'm going? It's like, why would I do that and employ someone so that I could spend another year doing an impression of being a comedian when I could just take that money that I'm making from YouTube that I don't need to spend and put it towards advancing my career? So that's what I want to do, because I'm sick of like being on the road and loving my life and being a comedian and getting on stage and then just being like, oh, I guess I'm not going to do that for 6 months because I've done all of the cities. I need to move. And I will forever be coming back to Australia once a year, to tour, because I love this country and I love doing shows here. And also it's a great excuse to get paid to see my parents and my family and the people that I'll leave behind. But yeah, I've just come to this realization because I've always known this is what I want to do and this is what I want to do, but I've never in my life been like, I'm not going to do these things. Like I've never consciously made the decision of what I'm not going to do. And what I'm not going to do is distract from the big swing, which is YouTube, podcast, Patreon, by doing all of this other stuff that could work, that I am good at, that would work if I did properly, but I can't do properly because I got to do this. And if I can't do it properly, I should not do it. And the only way for me to do it properly is to hire someone to do it. And if I'm making so much money that I can hire a second person, it's time to leave, because I don't want to build a team of 10 people in Australia so that I can do the fucking Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. I don't want to do that. I want to do clubs. And we've got 5 clubs in Australia. All right? There's fucking 40 in New York. Thousands in the States. Hundreds in the UK. I got to be where comedy is. So that's it, man. The big swing, we're doubling down. And I'm going to stop feeling guilty about not doing stand-up clips, because stand-up clips are great and stand-up clips are fun, but they don't get me to where I'm going. Because where I'm going is the States. And I love YouTube. And I even more love this podcast. This is my favorite piece of online content that I do. This and stand-up clips are not going to grow this. It's YouTube that will grow this. Because if I can get people to listen to me for 20 minutes in a video and go check out the podcast, they'll love this even more. And that's what I got to remember. So I'm not going to do a bunch of stuff that doesn't serve me, or that will serve me, but in the wrong way. I can do stand-up clips from New York. I don't need to be doing it here. I know where I'm going and I know where I'm headed, and YouTube is the way. So I'm saying this so that you guys understand what I'm about to do is I'm about to take the big swing to another fucking level, and we're going to grow this podcast together. We're going to grow this YouTube channel together. And with your help, we're going to get me to the States where I am going to become the greatest version of myself that I have ever known. Because I don't want to live my life thinking, what if? If I go there and it fucks up and I fail and I have to come home, that'll be devastating. But I'll be able to die knowing that I tried. I don't want to get to the end of my life and think, fuck, I wish I just swallowed the pill and did YouTube, even though I really wanted to do stand-up clips so that I could fucking give it a shot and move. I don't want to feel that. And I know that I can do this because there's been every time 3 months of doing stand-up, 3 months of doing YouTube, and I start making good money and I start getting brand deals and I go, oh, yes, I can do it. And it's almost like I go, finally, I can relax because I start selling more tickets. And I go, that's what I really want to do. And then I stop doing the YouTube thing. So I'm not going to stop. And I'm not going to do all this other stuff, even though I know it would work and I know you guys would enjoy it. And I'm not going to feel guilty about not doing that stuff because I know the only way to do that stuff is to make enough money to move and pay someone to do it because I am one man. I can't have 16,000 jobs. I will and have previously gone insane. So yeah, the big swing, baby. Episode 400 of the podcast in Sydney. Tickets for that are on sale. And we're going to be putting some merch on sale very soon as well. We've recorded a great sketch that will be going on YouTube because the big swing, we're doubling down on it, baby. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon. I hope you have a shit one. Bye. Oh, also, there's a Patreon episode up right now that's very good. We recorded it in the car. Anyway, that's up now. Have a shit one. Bye.